Hi, I'm John Hedges, the English Cruiserweight Champion. You are watching 662 Boxing, where champions are made.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Burf Greavesie, sponsored by JM Clark. That's plant hire you can trust. I'm very lucky. I'm a very lucky man. I've got the Oracle here, got the sunglasses on. Weather's very hot outside. Scary, isn't it? Anthropological global warming. Well, you don't get hotter than this, lad, when it comes to coaches. Frank, how are you, mate?
I'm really good, Burfie. Thank you very much, mate.
Frank, we've been involved in boxing for a lot of years, you and I, and obviously we're never surprised by anything, but sometimes the cynicism of boxing, it can wear you down a tiny bit, can't it? I mean, it happened, I think, during Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, that fight, it took so long. Who's getting the bigger cut of money? Until the end of it, you think to yourself, oh, I don't know, the wings have been pulled up of it. But somehow, I think Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua has transcended Pacquiao Mayweather. It's got to a point now where it's almost so ridiculous, I don't even know if I can muster the interest.
Well, mate, I'm going to agree with you. I know we see eye to eye not that often, but I completely agree this time, right? Ultimately, for me, I think where people have lost touch with it is these ridiculous warm-up fights. Right? Tyson Fury's had his warm-up fight against Makhmudov a little while ago at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Joshua's got his warm-up coming up against Christian Prenga. I can kind of see Joshua's one to a point. But when you look at the opponent and relatively speaking how poor he is, it's a complete non-event as far as I'm concerned. But it's still this prolonging it out, dragging it out, dragging it out, dragging it out. Same thing as Pacquiao Mayweather. Dragged out, no one's really interested. Neither of the guys are at their best. What's the point?
So I think there's a couple of different things to discuss here, which I'll chuck out in a second. But let's go through the opponents then. So Anthony Joshua is fighting Christian Prenga.
Christian Prenga,
I've never heard the lad, if I'm being honest. He's got one name on his record, who's the American kid.
Joey Dwecko.
Joey Dwecko is the kid that they reckon knocked over Joshua before he fought Ruiz, and that's what all the kerfuffle was about and why he wasn't right in the fight. Have you actually seen this kid fight?
I have seen him fight, yeah.
Your opinion?
Bang average. He would win an area title, English title at best.
Well, the English title's pretty good level.
Oh, mate, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty good level in terms of winning an English title, but when you're talking about going in with the world's best fighters, it's not. I mean, ultimately, I'm not sure who the English heavyweight champion is right now, but you wouldn't put him in with Anthony Joshua next week. Regardless of Joshua getting starched in his last fight against Dubois, you don't put him in with that kind of level of opponent straight away.
Right.
But yeah, mate, listen, he's okay. He does everything okay. He's got heavy hands, but he's very, very, very sort of...
And let's be honest, Albania, not necessarily a hotbed of heavyweight talent.
No. I mean, look, mate, I'm an anorak, right? I know Christian Prenga's name because I actually looked at him as a potential opponent for David Adelaide about 4 or 5 years ago. Right? When Adelaide was obviously on the come up, when he was 6, 7, 8 and 0. We looked at him as a potential opponent for Adelaide then. So, again, I know Joey Dwecko because I know he's been a handful and he's turned a few people over. He's a good fighter. But Joey was way past his best when he got stopped in round 5. This other guy, Christian Prenga, mate, I mean, he has beaten a who's who of Eastern European cab drivers and American club fighters. He's been over in America for a few years. These people that are... honestly, they're club fighters at best. They wouldn't get out of the Northeastern Divisionals as an amateur. He's a bang average opponent.
All right, so I'm going to say something now that's going to be a tiny bit controversial. All right? I don't think, all right, I'm going to say it, it's a bit controversial, and I don't mean to offend anyone. I don't think Anthony Joshua should be boxing. I think Anthony Joshua's just gone through a terribly traumatic thing. You know, he's lost 2 of his mates in the most terrible, and we've all seen the film, let's be honest, we've all seen it. If I was that lad, the last thing I'd want to be doing would be boxing. But, and if you are being a bit cynical about it, if he was going to box, you'd want to put him in against someone who was absolutely zero risk, which is what this kid is, which is another reason why I'm not really into it. If it was me and I was advising Anthony Joshua, I'd say, go away and get this thing sorted out, because I don't think you go through what he's just gone through and you get past it in a few months and start a training camp. Right? Irrelevant of the money you're going to make. If you were really worried about Anthony Joshua, I think you'd be looking at making sure that the kid was all right. You know, and so I don't like this fight for that reason. I'm just being completely honest about that.
Yeah, mate, I can see that. I mean, it all does seem a little bit of a cynical money grab, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, it's all, well, a lot of boxing is a cynical money grab, but I think that ultimately you're talking about a situation there which is extreme in the extreme.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's that lad, right, let's say he gets knocked over by Joe Dueto, right, in training. It's a big deal. He ends up getting knocked out by Ruiz. Well, you just had your mates killed in a car crash.
Yeah.
And you barely survived.
Yep.
And a few months later, you're boxing to get a fight against Tyson Fury.
Yep.
I'm sorry, it doesn't leave a very good taste in my mouth. It doesn't tell me that the people around him really care about Anthony Joshua, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
All right, I've said my piece. I'm glad I got it out there. Tyson Fury, right?
Tyson Fury.
Fighting Vac.
Yep.
You took a big experience.
I did.
Sorry, I'll go on a bit.
I did.
Again, a nothing type fight.
Mate, I didn't take that intake of breath because you was going on. I took that intake of breath because of Tyson Fury fighting Marius Vac. Now,
who we have agreed looks like
Russ Abbott.
Russ Abbott when he was impersonating Tommy Cooper.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very hard
to
watch this fight.
Mate, he's listen. Marius is very long in the tooth, very tough, big lump. You know, very rarely gets stopped, if ever. I think he's only been stopped a couple of times in 13 defeats. Knows his way around the ring.
Big old lump.
Big lumbering guy for kind of guy.
No snap, no power.
No, absolutely none at all. Kind of guy for Tyson Fury to look good against. But again, what I don't understand is Tyson Fury's had his warm-up fight. He's had good rounds against Makhmudov, who was, regardless of whether he was ended up being the fighter that we thought he might be on the come-up, he was still very good. Pushed Tyson Fury, got decent rounds out of him. Why is Tyson Fury having this fight? To me, again, it seems like an absolutely nothing fight.
Well, I'm going to go back down the cynical route. Right?
Yep.
Who's fighting first, Joshua or Fury?
Joshua on the 25th, Fury on the 26th.
So it's relevant, isn't it? That fight happens the day before that one. That's relevant. Now we're going to fight each other.
Yeah.
It's the only reason, because all the energy is falling out. The arse is falling out of this fight.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like it's like they've got a blow-up bed.
Yeah.
That's got a bigger hole in it than they can pump in there. Desperately trying to pump some air in it to keep it alive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? And I think that's what this is all about, isn't it? Like I say, I'm not particularly interested in. I mean, I know you and I both think that both of those fights, Joshua wins this one. You know, I'm not going to insult our people who are watching. They know what the score is.
Yeah.
But let's go forward then. Let's go forward into the what I suppose it would be maybe autumn of this year.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury eventually climbs in the ring with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
What happens, Frank?
Well, I think I'm going to kind of reserve judgment. I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit because I want to see what Joshua's got left against Springer.
Yeah,
ultimately, I'm not going to make it. Based on up until this point, if Joshua's still got the same if he's still the same that he was in the Dubois fight, I think it's a 50-50 fight at this stage of the game. Because Fury's definitely slowed down and Joshua can still whack.
I also get the feeling when you look, I mean, Tyson Fury was always a big man.
Yep.
He was never ever a body beautiful. That's not what he does.
Yep.
But he was always in condition.
Yeah.
But I feel over the last couple of years, he's really lost interest with the condition and the passion and that you need to be a boxer. In fairness to AJ, you know, the lad always turns up in great shape.
Yeah, he looks like an Adonis, doesn't he?
He does. He looks fantastic and gives a very, very honest account of himself.
Yep.
But you see it even with a very physically dilapidated Tyson Fury, you'd still see that as a 50-50 fight?
Yeah, I think so.
If Joshua's
still got anything left,
mentally there and with it.
Yeah, as I say, look, I think Fury's obviously got a great chin. We've seen that in the wilder fights, but there's only so many times you can get banged on that chin. And Joshua's still clearly got power. I mean, he virtually had Daniel Dubois out before he got knocked out himself, and Dubois is obviously a tough kid. I still think it's a 50-50. Again, I've said it a long time about Tyson Fury. You cannot live the lifestyle that he lives, put on the weight that he puts on, lose it. When you start to get towards your late 30s, you can't get away with that. You can't do the same stuff as you did when you was 32, 33, 27. You know, your body just reacts in a different way. I know that from personal experience, mate. It's just not the same. It's not the same.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Tyson Fury has given us some amazing nights. There's no two ways about it. I mean, I'll never, ever forget the first Wilder fight. Yeah. And obviously the 12th round in the Wilder fight has got to be one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in sports.
Absolutely.
Let alone boxing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think he really doesn't seem like he's got the same passion for it anymore. No. And that's fair enough. He's had some amazing nights. Yeah. But I just think it's such a great shame because sometimes this happens in boxing, doesn't it? That these fights that should happen don't happen, and eventually when they do happen, it's such an anticlimactic feeling.
Well, the fighters don't get the legacy for it that they should get had it happened earlier. I mean, ultimately, if they had a fight 4 or 5 years ago and it was a great fight and they have a couple of fights or 2 or 3 fights like he did with Wilder, you remember those fights and you always associate one with the other, regardless. You know, Hagler always gets mentioned alongside Leonard, even though he lost. It's the fights and the competitive nature of the fights that build the legacy rather than, you know, later on. No one talks about Mayweather beating Pacquiao. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Going back in time, actually, I remember that there was a big hoo-ha about whether Joshua didn't want the fight, whether Fury didn't want the fight.
Yeah.
And then it did appear at that time that it was actually Joshua who didn't want to fight, because it was at that time that Fury took the fight with Wilder, and it kind of blew the Joshua story up a bit. Yeah. It's probably the only time I've ever seen Eddie Hearn being interviewed and he was lost for words, because they'd absolutely stumped him by making that fight, because it exposed them as being the guys who didn't really want it. Okay, mate, that's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, please, like and subscribe. It makes it a lot easier for us to make these shows if you subscribe to this channel. This was brought to you by J.M. Clark. That's plant hire you can trust. Thank you for watching. This episode of Burf Greavesie is sponsored by J.M. Clark. That's plant hire you can trust.
Yo people, it's James DeGale. You're watching 662 Boxing, where champions are made.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.